Church or assembly? Which one is it?
I'm Tim Greenwood, and this is Windows on the Word.
Before Henry Ford created the assembly line method, cars took a long time to build, and they were really expensive because there were no such thing as assemblies other than the final assembly. Every part, nut, bolt, wire, knob had to be individually placed on the final assembly, and this proved to be very inefficient and yielded a poor quality and sometimes an actual dangerous product. Now today, each type of assembly is meticulously built in its own department, or maybe even by another company subcontracted to do that job. Take the dashboard assembly, for instance. You have all the gauges and meters and electrical controls, climate controls, ductwork, fans, and entertainment navigation systems, convenience devices, miles of cable and wiring, all that have to be assembled, tested, and fitted neatly within that dashboard frame and then covered by an upholstered cover. And each of these components are in like manner built and purchased as parts to be used in the dashboard assembly. There's many assemblies that are needed to make up the final assembly, such as the engine, the transmission, the air conditioning system, exhaust, suspension, steering, braking, fuel systems, body, dashboard, trunk, hood, lighting, carpets, headliner, seating, doors, wheels, tires, and the list goes on and on and on. Each are unique, each are necessary to produce a reliable, sellable vehicle. Now today in Detroit and other locations, there are assembly plants. In these plants, they usually assemble cars or trucks of a particular make or model. They start out by placing a unibody frame assembly on a conveyor system that snakes through the plant. And each of the many stations along the conveyor, there's a unique pre-built assemblies waiting for a unibody frame to arrive so that it can be assembled and made part of the final assembly of that particular make or model of car or truck. Now the goal, the purpose, the ultimate destiny of each assembly is to be an intrinsical part of the unibody frame, fitted and joined together as the final assembly. Now sure, you may eventually purchase parts or assemblies to replace those that are worn or damaged, but when's the last time you purchased a dashboard? But primarily the purpose of each assembly is to become part of the finished work. Now Jesus never came to this earth to start a religion. He came, among other reasons, to reestablish His kingdom, the kingdom of God in earth, with Himself as the king and the second Adam. It wasn't Jesus who created religion, it was man that created religion. From the moment that Jesus' feet left this planet, man began turning everything that Jesus said and did into a religion. The disciples at the Mount of Transfiguration, they already started right then and there to build religious shrines. What Jesus had in mind was for us to assemble as citizens of the kingdom of God rather than be members of a church or congregations and denominations. Now frankly, God doesn't really care what word you use. Ecclesia, assembly, church, all equally refer to those that Jesus called upon to assemble together. The problem isn't which word is used, but rather what the different words have come to mean. Unfortunately, the word church has become a reference to a religious building or a religious organization, usually to the exclusion of any outside building or organization. Now, is it just me, or isn't that divisive? On the other hand, If I call or advertise an assembly in my town, it's not inherently divisive, and it's assumed that the speaker will address items of general benefit. Have you ever given any thought as to how all these different churches and denominations came to be? Well, a little offense here, a little bitterness there, throw in a little pride, envy, jealousy, and a little touch of lust for power, and bam! You've got what we call a split. Now, I know that's not always how it works, but the devil is a pro when it comes to divide and conquer. I believe what Jesus had in mind were assemblies of people of one mind, one heart, one word, with Jesus as our King becoming big and dividing and multiplying like living cells opposed to what we have now. So look around. There are hundreds of thousands of isolated, mostly impotent churches, organizations, and denominations that either refuse to or fear to fellowship with each other. One or two organizations have even hijacked the name assembly for their own exclusive use. I just don't believe that Jesus wanted hundreds of thousands of assemblies existing solely for the sake of that assembly, or everyone creating their own brand of vehicle, but rather to come together assembly line method, with each assembly contributing as a necessary part of the final assembly or vehicle that King Jesus can use to finish his earthly ministry. Hey, thanks for joining us for this video. We can stay connected if you subscribe. You can be notified when the next Windows on the Word video is released. So just click on the subscribe link, click on the like button, and click on the notify bell here on the screen. And please, share this video with others.